Hello, everyone, and you're very welcome to the special Wednesday night deadline day takeover special. It's me on a Monday, so stay with us for this one. Hello, everyone, and you're very welcome to the Man United agenda. Please do give us a like, share, and subscribe. We do appreciate any support that you can give us. And of course, I do need to mention these wonderful mugs, the Man United agenda mugs. Keep an eye on this space because something very special is going to be happening soon. But if you want a mug, you'll know how to get one very shortly. But on Monday, before we kick off, the deadline, I can tell you now, is closed. That was a soft deadline, of course. Any bids that were expected will more than likely be accepted for a review. But can we just say, hopefully, this is a final cheers and good luck to the Glazer family from Manchester United Football Club. That something on the table will hopefully spark their interest. But before we get into that nitty-gritty, how are we doing?
Yeah, I'm a bit jealous because you're talking about things on the table. I know you posted a picture of your dinner. And I had to ask you, what you had a big bowl of mince or a big plate of mince, and under the mince you had some sort of pasta squares or something like that. I've never seen this before, but looked delicious. And yeah, you rushed that down in time for the show, and I'm really hungry now. I'm licking my lips. Hopefully, we've got a good some information coming through. We'll be going, and obviously the bids, the cut-off point was 9 o'clock. And we might not get any news straight away, but at least we can discuss it and go into the implications of everything. You know, as you said, 8 bids from what I'm finding out, but we know the two main guys going at it with the big bucks, and hopefully, my whole thing about this is that same way you finished your dinner, I hope we can finish off, clear our plate with the Glazers as well, and digest them and get them out of here and ship them out somewhere, because they clearly, for the last since 2005. Being a thorn in the side of the fans and everything, the stadium. We've become a laughing stock, and I think this is a major news. This is major news. What's happening today? It's been a long process, but it's been
Sorry,
the last few months.
I'm going to have to interrupt you because I do have some breaking news.
Let's go.
Apparently, there's a new third bidder being identified in the ring, and that is the Investment Corporation of Dubai. Sources have stated that the offices in Dubai have lodged a 6 billion bid for 100% of Manchester United Football Club. The level of this source is speculative, I imagine, rather than anything credible. But apparently, we now have Dubai in the mix.
Wow, that's crazy, isn't it? That's just out of nowhere, like an RKO. I wasn't expecting that. When you mentioned 8 bids, I mean. Is it credible bids? We know 2 with the Qatari and Ratcliffe, but the other 8, I think, where do these other 8 come from? I haven't heard about them. There's been no rumours or anything. You usually get to hear something, so it's not like it's Andy Tate or local supporters group or something trying to chip in. But yeah, it's a lot of money, isn't it? I think I was just looking at Todd Bowley. He paid 5 billion for Chelsea. Is that right?
Was it 5 billion euros, 4.5 billion pounds?
So it's 4.5 billion. So I think we're much bigger than Chelsea as a football club. We've got a bigger stadium. We've got a bigger network of fans around the world. Now, I do think, based on that, if that's the standard there and you're measuring up to that, I do think maybe 6 billion, what they're suggesting, is pretty decent for a Man United football club compared to Chelsea. I think we're that much, if you look at the ratio, I think we're that much better than them and bigger than them and got more history. And just to add as well, I just want to say, I know Chelsea, I think, still remain, since the turn of the century, I think they've remained the best club in the UK regarding trophies, Champions League, 2 Champions Leagues, various Premiership titles as well. I mean, and that's based on the money factor. But it's not just the money, is it? It's the money you got combined with a good management and combined with good staff as well. And I think those 3 factors is what really key going forward. So it's all right having the money, but they need to employ the right people to get the right staff in, and then we get the right brand of football played, and then you'll sort of almost guarantee success.
Sorry, OMONDI. I have to cut.
Warners, let's go.
Dakura Costas giving us the bead straight from Sky. According to Sky, I presume that's Cave, Qatar have made a world record debt-free bid for 100% of Manchester United Football Club. Now, we did speak this morning on rumours surrounding that Qatari bid, and the reported £7 billion investment over and above the bid to take control of Manchester United Football Club. That is to encompass redevelopment of the stadium, redevelopment of the training ground, upskilling of the resources available to the women's team, upskilling of the resources available to the men's team, and basically setting up United on the front football foot to be competitive across all spectrums. And we do have confirmation as well that Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bid is also in. Now, I did hear that apparently one of Sir Jim's plants had an issue in the last hour, so he still managed to get his bid in on time. There was rumours surrounding that bid as well this morning that two of the banks that were going to back Sir Jim Ratcliffe questioned whether the market fluctuations made it a sustainable choice, given that obviously Enos would be leveraging and having to repay loans, and where would the money come from in the event of that taking place in a downturn. Now, Jeff, he's and Box, they're all going absolutely gaga for this bidding news. We have Stumpy Candletop, we have Big G, we have Callula, we have, who else have we in the building?
Eddie Football Waffle, Viking Red, how you doing? Obviously, Stumpy Candletop is saying here, would it be great if the bid process was televised? Avran and Joel sat at a desk with envelopes. Always funny.
Actually, interestingly, speaking of Avram and Joel, there was a very interesting piece that came up from Cave earlier on, around midday to 1 o'clock today. And that was that the Glazers, namely the two aforementioned buckos, have absolutely no qualms about disappointing Manchester United football fans. They do not care about the opinion of Manchester United football fans, which is a very strong statement and nearly showing disdain for those that keep the football club alive, and that is the fan base. Obviously, a friend of the show, Phil, comes on here every now and again, and he tagged the Premier League in a tweet today. He said, how can you pass standards and fitness to be owners of the football club and show such contempt for its fan base? And that is a sentiment that I very much agree with, because at the end of the day, the heart and soul of any location, any village, any team is its fan base. And without it, you're nothing.
Certainly. Big up to Phil, by the way. I do follow Phil on Twitter as well. He's always so passionate about the club, and he seems like you, he's an expert on this subject. I'm just here as your sidekick today because I really don't know enough about this. I'm just hoping, like the transfer window deadline day show, we get some news coming in. But you guys, keep us updated if you don't mind with the comments if you hear anything, because Rebel's got his mic in, he's got his ear to the ground, and I'm sure he will be dropping any news as soon as it comes through. Eddie's saying here the Glazers need to do an old-fashioned auction for the bidders and get it done quick with the fast-talking auctioneer. That'd be good. We'd love to see it more public, because that way we would know. But at least we know. I think it's a three-horse race going into the final furlong right now, if you're talking like Cheltenham. This is the Gold Cup. The prize is Manchester United Football Club, and pleasing us fans, the fan base, which is still one of the biggest clubs in world football right now. Bloody great day, says Viking Red. Today, Scousers are thinking this was a hoax bidding war. Okay.
Here, to quote Braveheart, they may take our lives, but they will never take our freedom. But interestingly, just a few more bits and pieces coming across the desk. If there's 5 to 8 bids, we do not know exactly how many bids at this juncture, then surely that will take longer than tonight, tomorrow, and maybe even the weekend to unravel, unless there's a clear front runner. if one bid is head and shoulders above the rest, and they turn around and they say, right, lads, the bar is significantly more than you have set. Are you in or are you out? That could then maybe leave one or two bidders. There had been rumours going around that a third bidding round could be introduced. Now, this is obviously, in essence, a bit of greed from Joel and Avon Glazer, trying to excrete the last buck out of the sale of the club. And at the end of the day, when you think about how they came in to this club, they came in using a suite of financial backing in order to leverage it ultimately against the club itself. They are making a massive, massive profit on the disposal of this club. They've left the fixed capital assets in rack and ruin.
Yeah.
There's significant investment needed to bring this up. Big G, my desk is actually, in fact, a desk because I do have some home office desks. So, pow. But to get back to the more serious side of things, the Glazer family are going to be essentially redoing their net worth of their family by nearly 60 to 70% addition onto what the family is worth. I think they're worth in the region of 11 billion, all assets washed down into cash.
Yeah.
This will take them up to nearly 18, 19 billion dollars, which is actually, you're getting close to doubling their net worth.
Wow. Good investment at the end of the day, even if it's taken, they've been here since, 17 years or so. Good investment. They've made a lot of money out of it. And I think when they came into the club, do you think they realised that football was on the up? It was continued to grow in that respect. And do you think the new owners would look at that and say, this is an industry that will continue to grow with the Premiership and TV rights and that kind of thing?
In my opinion, the patriarch of the Glazer family, now deceased, was Dr. Evil. He had a plan to take over the world, and he didn't care who he ran over in order to get that all-American green dollar into his back pocket. It's understood from people that are close to the club that one of his sons isn't too far cut from the same cloth and is pretty much causing the majority of the ruckus to hold on to the bitter end to Manchester United Football Club because he thinks there's more in the offing for him. Now, interestingly, Our Lady on the ground, FC United, she gave me some absolutely unbelievable comments in the show this morning. And thanks very much for having her eyes on the prize there. But one of them was that apparently the suite of companies that is the main ultimate owner, the parent company of Manchester United Football Club, has a number of subsidiaries. And even though United has been publicly traded for quite some time, apparently Mr. Woodward, who still has an active role in the parent company, has been slowly hoovering up those shares vis-a-vis ancillary companies that are connected with the overall body. So there's rumours that apparently the Glazer family, through either themselves personally or the network of companies, are in a position of close to 95 to 99% of Manchester United Football Club.
This is going to be another round. There's going to be another round of bidding, says Box here. The Glazers are greedy. Beep, 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 says CALLULA. We've got Viking Ready saying, let's hope our bros at Tampa Bay get that money. And CALLULA's responded to Eddie saying, that's my worry. We need an owner who will make us one something. Sir Jim has another team, as in Nice in France. And what happens when we both, Nice and Man United, go into a European tournament? I don't want that risk. Okay, so there you go. Eddie, thank you so much. Go and check out Eddie Football Waffle. His channel is brilliant. He's got like
sorry on Monday
subscribers. We need more subscribers for Eddie Football Waffle. Go and subscribe to him, please.
Absolutely, I do enjoy his content because I do call into him. But there's some more news. Transfer Insider, a crowd that have been on the mark more often than they've missed. They said, ignore all this many rounds of bidding nonsense. And this is his unit. Nothing has changed. There will be a final round as we expect. This is PR. This will be the final round as we all expect. This is a PR stunt from the Glazer family to force interested parties to pay the asking price. Nothing has changed. Qatar will proceed to the final round as one of two of the strongest bidders. And according to multiple media sources, the Qatar bid is in the region of £5.5 billion. And the rumours of the third bid are also being questioned at the moment. So whether or not Dubai is in the race is now under scrutiny.
So it's like sometimes they can hoax bids just to keep the interest going, or encourage someone to bid higher. Maybe is that what that's about?
We see it in the property market all the time. A property agent is selling Chateau de Juma. There's one interested party because it's in the exact location that they need it to be. It's got the exact number of rooms that it needs, and it's got the exact layout that they like. There is a number of other parties that the price of the property is beyond their means. The estate agent, looking to excrete the maximum amount of money out of the prospective buyer for both himself, who earns a commission based on the final sale price, and his client, starts using the practice of phantom bids.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not you can get away with a phantom bid process when there's oversight in regards to the English FA, that is another question entirely. But Manchester United Football Club has a bill of sale on the table. There is now substantive offer on the table. One from Sir Jim Ratcliffe, one from Qatar, and rumoured ones from Dubai and other sources, none of which have been independently verified to any tangible level.
There's 23 guys watching right now. Make sure you press the like and subscribe button. And also going back to Eddie Football Waffle. We encourage all you guys to go and subscribe to Eddie Football Waffle. Top man. He comes on the show a lot, but his channel is dope. And I suggest you go and check it out, guys. Take it from me. Feel free. Duru Costas is saying, according to Sky, it's Qatar and Sir Jim, and the other bids unknown are questionable. As you were saying there, Rebel. It seems to be the case. And Box is saying here that Solo, our very own Solo, has been seen around with brown paper envelopes. What is he up to, Solo? What is he up to? I don't know. And Viking Red finally saying, the ironic thing is Roman wanted United before Chelsea, lads, because there was, Andy Herbert was saying here, there's been a Russian sniffing around Old Trafford as well. I read it. Don't worry, it's not ex-Chelsea owner. But he offered a starting bid of 4.5 billion. Where are you getting these rumors from, guys? Credible sources? I'm not sure. Funny though. Go on. If I could hear you.
I hit the mute button on my mic by mistake. So there's some information from Paul Scholes on the ownership situation. He says, I hope it's something that gets sorted soon. If the ownership is done deal in a couple of months, that would hopefully help the manager and the prospective executive plan using more funds that would be made available to them. It's obviously a priority, and the fans are ready to move on from the Glazer family. That's just briefly paraphrased. And in regards to both Qatar and Ratcliffe, there was various rumours as to the number of shares that were going to be up for sale. And there's various media sources still disputing how much is actually being able to be sold. According to some people, they can only sell 69% because that's the total number of shares that are known to be held by the Glazer family. But of course, our independent investigator reckons that they actually hold 90+% of the football club.
One thing I would say, I mean, this is exciting. I think from all accounts that the deal will be done before the end of the season. That leaves us straight away. The first thing they need to do is sort about the summer transfer budget and get that sorted, and we can start looking at new players to strengthen our squad. So it might be immediate success. We've seen the Newcastle model because of where they're at. They have to do it slowly, a different method. And the same with Man City, where they were at, they had to sort of be conservative a little bit and build slowly, in all departments. But
sorry,
United, it could be different.
Sorry, Monday. Just a few bits actually, just to kind of come forward again. Mary's Qatari journalist, and there's one tier one Qatari journalist saying the Qatari offer to Manchester United is still the best and most complete offer on the table. There is little left, and he has a hourglass. So he's saying tick tock, tick tock. Is he suggesting that something is happening? And the other interesting one from Viking Red, I saw that he mentioned hotel football. He's saying that the Qataris are obviously going to look to buy that as it is adjacent to the club. However, that would be obviously in keeping with what they were setting out to do, because they said as part of their overall plan for the whole area, they want to do up the campus around the stadium. So if you ever have been to Ajax Stadium, the train takes you direct to the stadium, and there's a shopping centre, there's a cinema, there's accommodation. There is literally a village surrounding this football club.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine what they're seeking to do is make this a location that, regardless of whether there's a match on, crowds are gravitating there.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? I think my friend just came back from the Burnabout, and just for a tour, there's no game, just to see the tour of the stadium, and saying the same thing. It's just it's immense. You go in there, you see the stadium, see the pitch, you see all the trophy cabinet room, all the memorabilia, and all this kind of thing, the history. It's a wonderful thing, and I think they could do the same with Manchester United. That'd be great. I was supposed to go to a game a couple of weeks ago, the Betis game on a Thursday, and I was looking into hotels and that kind of thing. And most of the hotels, even though there's a hotel nearby, most hotels I was looking at were back in the city centre. So it would be convenient if you are going. People travel over from Ireland, from all over the world, don't they? If you are going, it would be nice to be in the vicinity of the stadium.
Sorry, I'm on the interrupting again. More news. Cave is now on to his Twitter. Obviously, Cave of Sky Sports News fame. He's saying Cheek's regime remains confident and fully engaged in his bid to buy Manchester United. The next move is up to the Glazer family and their advisors. But the question is, do they really want to sell? There won't be an immediate response to the new bid. Waiting game until next week. So Cave is putting the ice bucket on our excitement and telling us to slow our roll, because they are going to ponder, they are going to stick and twist, and they're going to slither like the little you-know-whats that they are. Now, interestingly, the Rain Group did initially say that the sale of Manchester United Football Club would be concluded by the end of March. We are what now? 9 days away from the end of March, and barring an acceptance of an offer in the next day or two, you'd imagine it would be quite difficult to complete the process for that deadline. Robbie Norman, the Rain Group, are expected to respond to those who submitted new bids for Manchester United Club. He's backing up basically essentially what Cavi said, and that is Mike Keegan of the Daily Mail, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Or in his DMs, direct message to Robbie Norman, maybe.
I believe it's the Daily Mail. Yeah, this is like the last day of the transfer one here. To the 31 of you in the chat, obviously the majority are long-suffering Manchester United fans and have dreamt of the day, like Carlsberg would say if they did dreams. Getting rid of the Glazers is the dream at this juncture. And Manchester United Football Club is within a hair's breadth. Even, is that Cookie getting excited over?
This is Demas, the youngster. Demas is only known about the Glazers, so he doesn't know anything new. So this is a great moment for you, Demas. You're going to witness tonight the birth of a new Manchester United Football Club, and that's what we're all about here. Great show, says Viking Red. Thank you. Glazers on the way out, says UK Strange. And the Daily Mail. Yes, I was just joking about DMs. Eddie's question from Eddie. So the Rain Group are helping. Wouldn't they vet the bids to make sure there is no phantom business?
Exactly. No, unless it's in the Glazers' interest, of course. But as an audited company, you would expect that they would not do any funny business, because they will be answerable to the New York Stock Exchange and whoever their paymasters over in America are. So I'd imagine the only thing that kind of bothers me is, right, there's a significant staff involved from the English FA in order to facilitate the talks. There is a number of lawyers involved from the various bidding entities. And you'd imagine between all the advisors that the Glazers have put together in order to help them sell this club, that they will know exactly the benchmark of the runners and riders. I don't think, in my humble opinion, that it's a question of vetting a bid. It's a question, really, of the various advisors convincing Joel and Avram Glazer this is top dollar. Your idea that you have in your head for what you can expect from this club is pie in the sky. Join us on planet Earth. You've got over and above the market value of this football club, given the state of disrepair of the assets that are connected to this club. Snap their hand off, shake their hand graciously, and accept this offer. I'd imagine those will be the words that any sane advisor to this family should be uttering in the next couple of hours.
Just want to say, big up to Viking Red. He says it's about the money for all these greedy, you know what he's saying there. UK Strange saying, would have been great if the club would have bought itself out from the Glazers and run itself. And Jeff, do you want to say to big up Jeff, man? He's been part of the station for a while. And Jeff is making his debut on Friday night, 10 p.m. this Friday, guys. You
Friday week.
Jeff. Say? Oh,
Friday week.
Oh, sorry. Next week, Friday. So put that in your diaries, guys. 10 p.m. on the Friday night takeaway. It will be Jeff and Mr. B and guests going at it. And Jeff is going to bring some real great information and great observations about the game and his participation in football as well. So big up to you, Jeff. Thanks for coming on to the Man United Agenda.
More information from the Daily Mail, Mike Keegan. It is understood that there remains some distance still between the bids that have been submitted and what the Glazers want. So at this stage, it looks like they want their cake, they want the cherry on top, and they want your cake too on Monday.
Oh, God. They can have your plate of pasta and that'd be a lovely dish to serve up at one of these hotels, wouldn't it? That dish. Maybe you should put it on Twitter because I thought it was that nice. It looked so delicious, by the way. And did you cook that yourself, by the way?
I did that now from scratch myself, and it was absolutely fantastic. Anthony Herbert, there's more news on the Man United takeover. Back to Rebel in the studio. Oh, that's brilliant.
Viking Red saying, please let it be Qatari. Montreal MUFC, how you doing? We are international, man. It says Avram Glazer needs to find the horse's head in his bedroom tomorrow morning. That's a Godfather reference, isn't it? And Vincent saying here, you forgot they also want that chocolate milkshake of yours with the cherry on top as well. They're really taking a pee. And Eddie Footwaffles replying to CALLULA saying, can't wait for the fresh top ballers under the new ownership. And, we can't forget, we're talking about meals tonight. We're in our WhatsApp group. CALLULA was saying, what about my chicken, prawn, veg, rice, and naan she created today? I said I didn't like the prawns, but everything else sounded really yummy. Maybe you can put that up on Twitter as well.
Yeah, no pictures, no evidence. So
just eat.
I do have a number of, again, Arabian journalists, mainly based in Qatar. One of them is after running a poll. Who would you prefer, Sir Jim or Sheikh Jazim? There's 2,000 votes in the first 2 minutes. 88% of those votes want Qatar.
Okay, that seems to be the thing right now.
And Qatar's Islamic Bank offer to Manchester United remains unparalleled, according to another Qatari journalist. Now, on Monday, I want to change pace just briefly, while we all take our breath and let the comments marinate a small bit. Apparently, Tyson Fury versus Usyk is dead in the water.
Look, you know I'm a boxing fan. I could talk all day about boxing. Don't know how you guys feel in the comments. just talk quickly about this big fight. It is because it's about negotiations, isn't it? We're going through that right now with the sale of our club, and this is a big fight as well. They're called prize fighters. They fight for money, and I think what they're doing, all this, what you're finding these days, the build-up is part of it as well. You need to build it up, get fans on side, get us talking about it. We're talking about it on the Man United agenda. So quickly, Usyk is a cruiserweight champion, Olympic champion as well as an amateur. He's come up through the ranks. He won the Super Six at cruiserweight, unified the belts there, come up to heavyweight as a smaller man, even though he's quite big, and he's boxed his way to the world title, beating AJ 2 times over. So he's going into a fight to unify the belts because there's one belt left, WBC, held by Tyson Fury. So when they're trying to negotiate, he's saying, look, I'm Usyk, I've done A, B, and C. This is what I'm worth. This is my value. And it got to the point where Tyson Fury was saying, no, I'm the main man at heavyweight. You can't negotiate with me. You're taking 70-30 as a percentage of the cut, and there will be no rematch clause and all this kind of thing. So it drags on, doesn't it, when they're negotiating? And these guys, the boxers, have to be smart. You have to have a gimmick. You have to have something behind you as well. So even if you're not a boxing fan, you've probably heard of both fighters. You definitely heard of AJ, definitely heard of probably Tyson Fury, because they put themselves out there. They have to. And they have to create their own gimmick, their own persona to sort of help with sales. So when you're hearing also, Tyson Fury's bottling it or whatever, sometimes it's a game that goes on until there's more interest and then they set the fight. Because I didn't believe, I mean, they started talking about a month ago about this fight being the end of April. That's too soon. They need to build it up if they're going to do it properly. So you probably expect something to happen in the summer once things get done. But like I say, with all sports, it's about money. And as we're seeing today with the sale of Man United Football Club, once again, it's about the money, the dough, and the interest. Man United are a big club with fan base, and that's why they're getting sold for 6 or 7 billion.
Speaking of money, there's a document there that's about to be posted on Twitter. The legitimacy of which, again, questionable, but it is coming from a Qatari journalist. The Rain Group, through which a possible deal is going through, will have their top dogs in their organisation evaluate all bids received for Manchester United, which could take 2 to 3 days. Once that's done, the Rain Group then presents the 2-3 best offers received to the Glazer family and advises them. The Glazer family would then evaluate the same over 2 to 3 days. The Rain Group would then go back to the bidders and inform them of the following. 1. The Glazers have rejected you and you will not make it through to the next round of bidding. The Glazers want you to go through to a third and final round, and the Glazers are happy to accept the bid and get the paperwork underway is option 3. So, again, the speculation is that they're trying to excrete a little bit more dollar out of Manchester United Football Club.
There you go. It's updating all the time. I thought we were going to come on the show and there wouldn't be much news, but it seems like loads of stuff's coming in, even if it is speculation. Still people watching. Make sure you press the like button. We've been going 33 minutes. Still haven't got any clear, decisive news about what's happening, but we're keeping you updated here. A lot of boxing talk coming through right now. You can see the comments right here. A lot of fans. We all love all sports. And speaking about all sports, guys, don't forget the quiz show is coming back. The quiz master, that's myself. So if you want to test me on sports and football and Manchester United, make sure you give us a message in the DMs, not the Daily Mail, the DMs and Twitter.
Interestingly, Tom McDermott is saying and pointing out Qatar is 3 hours ahead of United Kingdom. So at the moment there now, it is 12:30 at night. The group is stressing that there won't be any last-minute analysis of the numbers, as some have reported all details provided by MFC in good time, and the second formal bid was submitted. And it is a world record. World record for the purchase of a sporting organisation. Sir Jim Rag.
Just a quick question. Who owns, they say Real Madrid is one of the biggest clubs up there. Who owns Real Madrid?
It's the King of Spain, isn't it? If I remember correctly, and the royal family.
Okay. So it's a national club. It's like a national treasure then, in that respect. Okay, fair enough.
United plug basically posting Fabrizio Romano's information saying Sheikh Zayim submitted his new bid as expected. 100% is what has been bid for, and they are also emphasizing about the investment in the stadium, first team, academy, women's team, etc. So the talk that was presented this morning of up to 8 bids, that seems to have been a little bit of hokey pokey, maybe to get bidders to put a little bit of extra cream on their second offer, because as far as we can tell, only two bids have had any legitimate verification. Even if the identity of other bidders is not known, there's nothing more than smoke and mirrors in terms of whether or not they have been submitted. Now, the question is, and I want to ask the opinion of the chat in this one, if it is in fact two bidders, Sir Jim Radcliffe, who has managed to get his bid up to 5 billion, and the implications of what that could mean financially if there's a downturn or other such I suppose, expected variances in his fortunes, what that would mean for our football club in the short, medium, or long term, and a world record bid for Manchester United Football Club. In your opinion, are the Rain Group going to be advising that this is the time to either stick or twist? If you stick, you run the risk of Manchester United remaining in your hands, and then the backlash will truly take place. And yes, UK strains, even today, I think the share price was at 7%. I read.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
read earlier 7%. That's from Vincent mentioned that.
So the other side of that is, if we're to buy into the theory that all these little shell companies have been buying up the publicly traded shares as they became available and are ultimately owned by the Glazer family, then the share price in the public setting is a significant bit of information for them, because that will have a direct bearing on those shares that are publicly traded. They will stand to obviously make whatever was agreed for the allotment of their shares that they hold, that are known to be held, and these shares that are held by companies of which they're the ultimate beneficiary, if that is what is taking place here. Eddie's football waffle, he's back and awake. The smelling salts were put under his nose. He got KO'd when you went into the boxing. But
you went there, Rebel. You asked the question, not me.
Goldman Sachs, Goldman Sachs will tell the board if they say the brand is toxic on future earnings. Oh yeah, Goldman Sachs have been advising that a continued relationship with Manchester United Football Club is in fact not the most beneficial to their pocket in the long run. What they do with their money ultimately, whether it's if they decide that they're getting into bed with FSG, that's not our baby. If they decide they're going buying Everton Football Club, that's not our baby. Once they walk out the doors of Old Trafford and relinquish all interest in the club, that is ultimately the result that Manchester United Football Club fans want. But they do not want to go from a situation where, even though we might have a good owner, we might have a good plan, and the interests of the club are held at heart, if there's a cloud of uncertainty in terms of the financial stability of that individual, if there's a fluctuation that he can't account for, that is a lot of weight. And as Manchester United football fans, we never envisaged the day that we would be taking note of stock exchange figures, that we would be taking note of the controlling interest that they're looking for in cricket or whatever other nonsense the Glazer family would purport in front of us. Too long have we been away from putting the eye test on what we're seeing on our pitch, the eye test on what competitions we are involved in. We are football fans. We have been inadvertently given business degrees in the School of Hard Knocks because of what has transpired since the day that Sir Alex Ferguson, over the dispute of a horse, caused the two Irish gentlemen to say F this, we're out of here.
Yeah. Question, two questions here from Box saying, how far are we into the selling of the club, do you reckon? And also, are we closer to being sold now or still way off?
In my opinion, in terms of where we are, that is still a grey area. Manchester United Football Club has been subject to a world record bid. Any sane individual is looking at that and thinking, okay, I rolled the roulette wheel, I put it all on zero, and my number has come up. And if they think they can get zero again, maybe they go, let's try for another 500 million. Let's try for another billion. And even though the Qatari bid and other bids have been relentless in their pursuit of getting this club, there's going to be a time when you push the boat too far. And I'm hoping that the advisors to the Glazer family make them see sense, because they can get involved in whatever business ventures they want with the level of money that has been put on the table in a world record bid. Even the second bid, even though I think it's about 500 million lighter, is significant money.
Yeah, certainly. Clarence Johnson, all the way from Jamaica, he's saying, oil me up from Jamaica. Yes, he's looking for that Qatari oil money to change our fortunes as a club. Boxer saying, Andy Herbert, fix the roof and to clean the toilets. I think he's saying to him personally, do that. So if the owners come in, says Anthony, and what are the plans in general? We just mentioned now, I was going to talk about, I was ask you, because they mentioned about women's football, sorting the women's football team out as well. That suggests to me that women's football's on the up, and there's going to be, it's going to blow up. We're seeing it on TV now. I don't know what sort of ratings they're getting, but they're really pushing women's football. And I think this will be interesting to see with a club like Man United being taken over. And they are, one of their directives is to sort out a women's football club and invest in there. That shows you that they see long-term future for women's football on as a brand on TV and getting our, I don't know many women's football players, but surely in time they will come to me because I'll be seeing them or I'll be reading about them or I'm seeing them on TV now, commentating and thing and listening to them. And I think, okay, I'm starting to know a few more names, so it's being pushed out there. And so it must be a good investment to push women's football because there seems to be like a general thing going on now. So that's a good investment. The training ground obviously needs improvement, as Ronaldo highlighted early in the season. The roof is leaking, the pipes are on water. Ease up, Mr. Landlord. You know that tune there. All you ragamuffins out there. And the training ground, the pitch as well, the stadium maybe needs changing. And the whole infrastructure in the local area as well. These are things that could quite possibly be done or been promised in the manifesto.
Interestingly, 33 people in the chat. Please do give us a like, share, and subscribe. We do appreciate any support there. Tom McDermott, much respected journalist, is saying it's a shame that Manchester United fans are so divided and aggressive towards each other, especially when it comes to the provision of information that is being given to people surrounding the possible next steps in the change of ownership. Even those that they're not either pro or for any bid are getting attacked because they posted about a particular party and it's not fitting the agenda of the person that's commenting on it. We as Manchester United fans should be united in one fact. The Glazer family need to be told in no uncertain terms that we want them to accept a bid and leave our football club. They are not acting in the best interest of the club and by their own ambition, as announced on Sky Sports, do not care if the United fan base revolts and holds them in disdain and will proceed regardless should they decide to hold on to the football club. We spoke about standards and fitness of Manchester United Football Club owners as applied by the English FA. Those that hold contempt for their fan base, their true lifeblood, even though they believe it is the green American dollar, are not fit owners and never will be fit owners.
No comments here about the women's football and some suggestions here. Let's have a look. Before we do, just a bit of a joke here. Viking Red saying, lads, turned on the jukebox a bit. And Freddie says it best when he says, I want to break free. You know, that big song there by Queen. Montreal saying, whatever plans are there for the redevelopment, I hope we have a new stadium for the women's team right next to Old Trafford. I'm just going to find a comment as well, because there's something similar to that by Box saying here, build a nice little 30,000 seater stadium next to Old Trafford for the under 23s and the women's teams as well. That's a good comment there. And CALLULA, are you going to women's home games? Because CALLULA's naming a lot of players here from the women's team that I don't know about. MUFC women could keep going all day. Do you know these names? Russo, Paris, Tone. Big up the women's football. And Vincent saying here, the Glazers laugh every time now. He will sing about Joe Glazer's. Okay.
Here, we want them to leave on a jet plane. Don't know if we want them back again. Actually, we do know if we don't want them back again.
There's an Aswad tune called "Don't Turn Around." So don't just go. Don't turn around. You know that song there by Aswad. Big up to drummer Aswad, who passed away recently. Big up, man. He was top band. Anyway, a couple more here. Viking Red saying, my lad and grandchildren will see the true red Man United after these leeches have left. Well said, Man United agenda. A diamond in the rough. Big up to Vincent Viking Red. Sorry, I'm calling you Vincent Red. But you know who you are. Vincent saying here, the Glazers laugh every time. Oh, yeah, we've done that one.
Interesting breaking news. This surrounds, in the event that Sheikh Jassim is successful in the acquisition of Manchester United Football Club, there are well-placed sources in his camp that have stated his desire to spend £500 billion on the playing staff in the summer.
500 billion.
Million pounds.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say that's more than the club's worth. 500 million. Yeah. Okay. That's fair. That's fair enough. That means a whole new side, basically, or some real key players coming in. Do you think the players are really keen to know what's going on with this takeover? Do you think they're worried about their places when you're talking about 500 million being placed for transfers? Do you think the players will be worried?
My humble opinion, and again, I want to ask the chat this. Eric Ten Hag, and imagine if he was sitting in the Manchester United Football Club WhatsApp group. Then, if he saw any talk about the takeover, I would hate to imagine the amount of laps that he would be making that player run in order to make him forget about any silly business that's not related to performing on the pitch and executing the tactics. Robbie, he's saying he can't because of FFP. Now, the interesting thing is nobody, I don't think, has done the maths of what Manchester United Football Club looks with a new first team shirt sponsor. Whatever suite of sponsorships that get coming in along with a burden-free Manchester United Football Club. The uplift in TV money. We don't know exactly what that number is until Manchester United Football Club releases its set of accounts 12 months down the line after it has been taken over. Maybe 500 million is realistic if it's done by the percentage. Maybe it's pie in the sky. We don't know for sure where we sit. What you have to remember as well is a lot of this stuff is based on spread out phase payments. So if there's future earnings coming in, while, as you said, it's on this year's accounts, doesn't mean that we will be putting all that 500 million upfront into the pockets of a prospective bidder. It might be significantly less than that. Obviously, we don't know exactly what the figures are and the numbers are, but they can put a bid forward to say, we'll give you 20 million up front, we'll give you Scott McTominay, and we'll give you X number of million for the next 5 years. Like what you remember now, Todd Bowley he went on a madness in the January transfer window.
Yeah.
He bought any player he could lay his glove on. The reasoning why he could do that was the duration of the contracts. Whether or not that loophole is going to be closed in the summer, I don't know. It could be that it be restricted to a 4 or 5 year period. We'll wait and see what happens there.
Really knowledgeable comments coming through. You guys know your stuff for sure. Even Box. I mean, while you're saying it, the comments are saying it as well. So 8-year contracts. That's the loophole. The way to get around it. 700 million on long term, says Viking Reg. You guys definitely know what you're talking about. And do you think the Glazers leave team?
No.
You might do a U-turn. No, Robbie's saying here we don't want to do a Chelsea with 8-year contracts. 11 Phil Jones. 5 years should be tops. Yeah, for sure.
We have 38 wonderful people now in the chat with us. Please do give us a like, share, and subscribe. And keep an eye out for the Man United Agenda mugs and associated merchandise. Something is coming in the not too distant future, and we'll be able to make direct contact with the wonderful provider of these mugs. But we're just going to keep flaunting them until that day, and it won't be too long. It might be even sooner than the Glazer takeover.
I think the new owners should respect all the podcasters like us, all the channels, and give us a lift as well for all the hard work we've been doing behind the scenes. We want some wages. You got enough money to throw around, so yeah, pay us for our hard work, and all the people in the comments as well. We've got Taboo in the house saying women's team should also be a priority in this debate. Yeah, we did discuss that earlier. We do agree. Sub Vince is saying nice mug, Gins. Yes, the mugs are available very soon. Make sure, guys, if you want the merchandise, I mean, the mugs are fantastic. It's my favorite mug. I've got Harry Maguire on mine. You can get any player of your choice. But be careful, because some players might be leaving quite soon, judging by this takeover. You might have to get a Mbappe mug or a Messi mug, or who knows what sort of great players will be coming in. But I don't want this is what my point on this, Rebel. I think I've had a lot of rival fans getting a bit shook at the moment with what's going on. They think we're just going to buy our title. I want to see us work towards it with football, with bringing a few youngsters and having a balance there, not just splashing out like Chelsea have. You know, they just bought Raheem Sterling, and it's like, how's this guy going to get games when they bought this Modric Ukrainian guy, and they don't know what sort of system they're playing? It's not really, it doesn't look too organised to me. So I want to see us purchase players, the right players, just like Casemiro's the right player, because we needed a midfielder, a quality player to come in and just in certain positions just to strengthen us. And I think we do all right, because we're already quite close to really blowing up. Sancho on mine is a fellow Trini. That's on a mug. Callula's got Sancho because he's a Trinidad national, or his dad is, I think, from Trinidad. What are you saying? You want Solo to put you in a 4-year contract on Monday? Says Vincent. Yeah, why not? Pay us all the channels, if you don't mind. Some videos saying there be collector's items. They will, most certainly. And breaking news from Andy Herbert. There's been another bidder for Man United. Mr. B started a bid at a credible 50p.
I believe that was to ensure that Scott McTominay is sold from the Manchester United Football Club. But interesting comments that I'm seeing on Twitter regarding the alleged reported transfer fee that would be provided to Erik ten Hag. Let's just say, for argument's sake, this is credible and it's realistic. Let's even say 250 million is realistic. Let's bring it down a touch. If Erik ten Hag wants to bring in 5 players that are worth 15, maybe 20 million apiece, and there's 150 million or whatever it is left in the kitty after that, will Manchester United's fan base, through lack of understanding, be complaining and banging at the door for his head, I wonder, as to why he didn't spend all of the 250 million and why he was buying from sources that were not Brown Thomas, if you were to take a shopping analogy?
Yeah, I think this. I would like that. I think as a fan, I can only speak for myself, but but I want to see a development where we say the manager's done it. This has been a work in progress. We brought in the right players at the right time. We haven't just bought a player who can sort of who's hot at the moment, like who's hot, Osimhen, Mbappe. These players are kind of hot. They're talked about whenever we do transfer shows. I just want to buy players like at the moment. Say we didn't have much money. If we got Kane, and if we got maybe a good centre back as well, and a new goalkeeper, that might be enough already to get us win us a title. Maybe a good striker, maybe Kane quality, that sort of world-class striker, a good goalkeeper, world-class, can distribute the ball, and maybe a couple of defenders. We're not far off winning the title, and that's without the Qatari money or the new owner's money. I think if we do get a budget of like 500 million or whatever you're suggesting here, we have to spend it wisely and just buy the key right players. Because what happens, the tax goes up for Man United players. If you're interested in a player, they would say, all right, we're going to double the price all of a sudden, like what happened with Anthony, and suddenly you're paying like a bit over the odds for someone who really shouldn't be priced up that much. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with that. But it's exciting, isn't it? It's
And
really
speaking of exciting, we do have more news. And this again is via Sky Sports and Sky Chiave, as he's known at this stage. Speaking to a credible journalist from the UK, the news he's getting right now is that the figures should not be closely looked at, as they really are a closely guarded secret. Make of that what you will. And again, the figure of the bids was not discussed. So I suppose the media arms of the various bidding parties are probably circling out how much they put in, maybe to mount a fan reaction and put pressure on Joel and Avram Glazer to take what's been put on table, because I suppose it paints a picture on Monday. If I say to you, my rich billionaire money tree printing buddy has put in £6 billion for Manchester United Football Club, and it's verified that that guy's rich, then that will incite a certain reaction to people that haven't a clue who this fella is, who I am, but they'll be going, but the guy that's worth 100 billion put 6 billion on the table.
Yeah. Interesting that. I want to say bye quickly to Viking Red. He's off now. He's tuned in. He's saying great community. And that goes to every one of you guys in the comments as well. Really appreciate what you're doing to help support this podcast community.
Hold the phone. Breaking news. Cave, once again, in 15 seconds ago, has come on the Twitter. Incredible development. Now being told Sheikh Jazim and Sir Jim Radcliffe's bids have not been received yet by Rain in New York. Both asked for extensions and request to be accommodated. Many proposals have been submitted. So, according to Cave, Rain Group in New York have not received the paperwork for the bids of Sir Jim Radcliffe and Sheikh Jazim. We know at this stage it is approaching 1 a.m. in Qatar. So, what is going on, I wonder, within the bidding circles, if the reports are true that in New York at the moment, they do not have a bid to scrutinise?
It's afternoon right now in New York, isn't it? Or maybe midday, maybe 1, 2 o'clock. So, yeah, the stock market's open. Keep the news coming in. I mean, I don't think it matters about being 1 a.m. in Dubai or Qatar right now. I think they'd be working overtime to sort of get this deal done and celebrating once it's all completed. If you were a bookies man, or what do you think the odds are right now? Favourite and SB?
Well, in terms of favourites, the favourite, if you're Joel or Malcolm Glazer, is that Manchester United Football Club will be sold to who gives them the money that they want.
Okay.
Now, as speculators outside, we'll see the pros and cons of any bid. Qatar has pros and cons, so Jim Ratcliffe has pros and cons. And none of us will know who was right or who was wrong, because only one will possibly own Manchester United Football Club in the long run.
The bookies are usually not wrong, and it would be great to see a live odds chart to see who's in the running. I would say Qataris are probably favourites at the moment, the way things are going. I want to say hi to Michael Hill. How you doing, Michael Hill? Welcome. A bit late, but nice to see you. Saying aside from all the sell talk, is Martial fit yet? Is he Martial fit yet? I don't know. I never know with that guy. Is he ever fit? I'm really not sure, but it would be great to have him back, especially with this rest right now with the international break. If he can get back in. I did read earlier that Eriksen's sort of on the mend, and Eriksen could be back. I think he's almost back in training now, which is great. It's gone really quickly.
There was pictures of him showing the progression from the day that he left in that big boot, and he's now in his actual boots. His ankle or whatever it was that was damaged has returned to normal size. And speaking of international breaks, a bit of a segue. As you know, Ireland were playing today in an international friend against Latvia, and a young man by the name of Evan Ferguson made his international debut for the Republic of Ireland. He is, of course, Brighton's striker at the moment. He's a young man of, I think it's 19 years of age, and he got his first international goal in his debut. He did.
Wow.
And it is believed that scouts from both Manchester clubs were at the game.
Wow. That's good. Donny van der Beek is back in training as well, says CALLULA. Yeah, I like the Ferguson guy. He's big, strong. Just want to see a bit more of him. But yeah, for his age, he's very strong and physical, and sort of matching up to these big defenders and not being pushed around is quite easy. So yeah, he looks like a good player. Don't know if he's just big and strong. Has he got more to his game? Hopefully, yes. And it'd be a good signing, yeah, to get someone British coming in the next big thing. Maybe it's him. Who knows?
Interestingly, the speculation that neither Sir Jim or the Qatar bid had made their submissions is now being reported across multiple media sources. Whether or not now they're taking their cue from Cavi and just quoting him verbatim and referencing him as a source, that is unclear. But you'd imagine, how unlikely is it that these two main parties have not been in constant communication with Rain, with Glazers, with English FA, and that any hiccups in maybe transmitting bits of paperwork would be clearly put forward? Because I'd imagine, at the very least, they'd be able to say, look, Rain, the offer is this. The paperwork associated to that offer, for whatever reason, is not going to be with you until 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Is that all right? Are you okay with that? Or do you need us to work through the night and get it to you at the first possible opportunity? But I find it hard to believe, particularly Sir Jim, who's a businessman, missing deadlines. That does not seem like something a level-headed businessman would do.
Yeah. As Vincent said here, the Glazer's fax machine is broken again. Odd. I mean, I think maybe things have been done and dusted. Would they really announce it publicly? Who knows? But I think by 9 o'clock, you get your serious bids in, and that's it. And all now is just speculation. And they can sort of throw people off with a few hints and tips here and there. As we're seeing on Twitter right now, everyone is speculating about what's going down. What do you guys think in the comments? I mean, you're obviously, there's 34 of you watching right now. Press the like button for us. What are you guys thinking right now? Is this exciting for you? Is this kind of exciting? Think about the prospect of the Glazers going and the new money coming in, and our club being sort of revitalized. How exciting are you? How excited are you by this, guys?
And the other opinion I want to ask you is, obviously, we take more stock of tier one journalists, those that have reached a certain status because of the credibility of their reporting. There's a lot of ordinary Joe Soaps like yourself and myself, OMONDI, and those that are watching in the chat that are saying some tier one journalists are now being exposed as the frauds that they may have been always, that they were piggybacking on the coattails of certain people's sources, and now maybe they've been fed ponies. because there's a discrepancy between the tier one journalists. Some are saying the bids are in, and some are saying the bids are not. In terms of Cave, he's going to say, and always, I quote, my source has told me, this is not fact.
Yeah.
This is my source has told me, and they're probably 60 to 70% reliable that this is the picture. Then there's other tier one journalists that are saying, well, actually, I have a guy inside in the English FA, and he's told me directly the bids are in. That's as much as he's told me, but the bids are in.
Jay Motti said on his channel, no bid has been accepted yet, but how much truth is in this? Yeah, that's the question. We just don't know, do we? We just don't know. And a lot of different reports right now. Clearly saying, I want the Glazers gone, and this is over. All this bidding and takeover bids, just want it over and done with. Yeah, we just don't know. We just don't know. But I think a lot of these, like you said, a lot of these journalists, their reputation is on the line, and something like this, they have to be really mindful what they say, because you don't want to be considered a BSer, a BULL shitter kind of thing. That's not good for their rep. So if you want to be credible, wait for someone like Romano says, here we go, when he knows for sure something's going through. And no one's really got the balls at the moment to sort of be sort of conclusive with certain things, you know? You'll just be speculating or guessing, I consider. But anyway, we can go in an hour now, and still we're none the wiser. We kind of expected this, though, didn't we, Rebel? I mean, you weren't. There's not going to be an announcement straight away, but I think it was great to cover this, the takeover, strictly because of the 9 o'clock deadline. Just want to say hi to Super Nick, one of my favourite people on social media. She's saying the Glazers are mocking the pro. What's that word? Help me out here.
The procurement the Glazers are mocking the procurement process and the fans, knowing the longer the process and the more drawn out the opportunity they have to win on their terms. So basically, what Super Nick is saying is that they are laughing in the face of the fan base and are trying to retain power to garner as much money as possible. And I fully agree with the sentiment of Super Nick there. Interestingly, and this is how farcical, I suppose, the tizzy that the Glazers and the bidding process has sent Manchester United reporters, Manchester United fans into. Cavi is now saying apparently that there's 8 bids apparently after being submitted from Manchester United Football Club. So I'm wondering at this stage about whether or not these journalists, like us, have been carried along for the ride and have been sold a few dummies in order to keep the story churning in the media, because that is in fact what they want. Like I'm seeing again multiple Qatari journalists reporting, oh, this and that has happened. BBC have reported bids have been submitted, apparently, so that is in direct conflict to what Sky are reporting.
Right.
Fabrizio Romano an hour ago said the bids were in. So Cave apparently has sources that Fabrizio doesn't. And as we know, Fabrizio rarely tweets anything until the I's and T's have been crossed and dotted multiple times and maybe cross-checked and re-verified again.
Yeah, just looking at the BBC one, they're saying they have been submitted. So who knows? Who knows who's credible? But BBC, we got 40 watching right now. But BBC seem to be like, I don't think they would put something out like that because they're saying it has been submitted.
Yeah, Steve Housen of Stratford Paddock saying both bids are in. Actually, Jay Motti as well. Obviously, a friend of the show, friend of the channel.
He's on tomorrow, actually. Jay's coming on
Friday.
Tomorrow.
He's got the Friday. Yeah.
Friday.
Again, his information will be as good as those that are telling him it. And if the Glazers are doing tight quarter negotiations with 1, 2, or 3 parties in order maybe to excrete a final $500 million, that could end up getting a gentleman's agreement very quickly, where, at a business level, let's say, okay, 5.75 billion, we'll shake on that, deal done. But then it'll take 7 days or 8 days or 9 days for the verification of the paperwork, the this and the that. And eventually we'll say, in the 1st or 2nd of April, breaking news, Joel and Malcolm Glazer, on behalf of the Glazer family, in conjunction with Orion Group, have accepted a bid for Manchester United Football Club for the sum of blah, blah, blah billion from blah, blah, blah bidder. So I think it'd be very hard to iron out whether or not there's a deal done in the background. I'd imagine Rain, Glazers, and bidders will all have a feel of whether or not they're genuinely in the running or whether they're also rans in the race.
Real talk, Rebel. Big up to Super Nick again. She's saying here, as part of the bidding process, the stages would have to be outlined. It's now sounding like a freestyle until they get the highest bidder. Montreal MUFC saying, I wish I could understand how club's main creditor, whoever that bank that might be, did not force the Glazers to sell in the same way that the Bank of Scotland booted Hicks and Gillette out of Liverpool. This is over my head. I don't understand a lot of this stuff here. And Super Nix is saying here, the Glazers have expectations of how much they are willing to accept in perspective of the business plans being presented. It's a gamble. I love your vocabulary, Super Nick. You're always twisting me up with these lovely words.
Interestingly, with regards to the Hicks and Gillette situation, the Bank of Scotland, my understanding of that situation was that the money and repayments weren't being met. And as a result of which, they sought to get their value back from the attached fixed asset, and that was Liverpool Football Club. Manchester United Football Club is making all interest payments in regards to the loans that are held in the club. So therefore, those banking institutions, it wouldn't be in their interest, pardon the pun, to force the issue because they are receiving their payments and they know that at a certain given point that their capital will still be maintained. So if they get an extra 5-6 months of interest payments, they're happy as a pig in muck.
There you go.
I'm going to look for some final bits of information to see if there's anything that we can bring you. But as I suppose speculated earlier on today, to sum up where we are, there is conflict amongst the Tier 1 journalists as to who has bids in, who doesn't have bids in. There is a statement out there from many Qatari journalists that Manchester United Football Club has been subjected to a world record bid for a sporting institution. That is going to be close to £6 billion. There was reports again from Qatari journalists today that was put forward in one of the English publications this morning that I covered in a show, that £7 billion is going to be made available outside of the bidding process in order to look after the fixed assets, to look after the stadium, to look after the training ground, to look after the implements that are going to be transporting our men's and women's football teams, and of course, to develop the concourse around the stadium, i.e. develop an amenity that will be the eye and the jealousy of all rival fan groups when they see what is available at the Manchester United theme park.
Big up to John Higman. He's saying, my wish will be to be waking up to hearing Man United sold and the Glazers are now going out to get Liverpool. That's a brilliant comment.
This is going to be my final point because I think, unfortunately for us, we're not going to get a here we go, Glazers are gone tonight. And I don't think we ever believed that would be the case.
Yeah.
There is speculation, again, amongst various journalists, that the reason why Liverpool Football Club did not proceed with making an effort to sell their club is, number one, the bidding frenzy that was surrounding Manchester United Football Club. They felt it detracted from getting top dollar for their football club. And the second one is that apparently Team America may have interlinked, and that there is a gentleman's agreement that Joel and Avram, who apparently want to continue in football, would get a minority stakeholding in said football club as a united American push towards owning Liverpool Football Club. I don't know how credible that is, whether or not the Glazer family will diversify into another football asset should we actually get sold, but that is amongst the speculation. I'm not sure even would I wish them on Liverpool because of what they've done to Manchester United Football Club. On Monday, to the 38 people in the chat, we will obviously stay on top of everything that's happening with regards to developments. If there's anything fresh and new and we're still awake tonight, who knows? We might jump back on and get you up to date. But for now, it looks like there's division amongst the Tier 1 journalists. We do want to continue to hear your thoughts on what you think is going to happen in the comments after the show. Manchester United Football Club is certainly up for sale. There are certainly interested parties. Now the question is, will the Glazers take what's been put on the table? But from us, thank you, good night, and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening.
Good night, guys.